We are very quickly coming to the end of the church year. Advent begins in just a couple of weeks. Luke is just about ready to go back on the shelf for 2 years while we pick up Mark and then Matthew again. And all around us, the darkness is closing in. We awake and begin the day in darkness, and at the end of the school or work day, we find ourselves in darkness again. The leaves are falling off the trees, the birds have already started heading south, the critters are all scurrying around for warm places to hold up for the coming cold. It seems like all around us, the specter of death is haunting us. So it is fitting that our readings are focused on this subject as well. In our gospel, Jesus is being challenged by the Sadducees on the notion of a literal afterlife. And their focus in this challenge was the Levitical marriage. Now, there's a lot going on here. The first century Jewish faith was ambiguous in regard to a literal afterlife. Most of the Hebrew and Apocrypha readings that we interpret as speaking to a literal afterlife were originally understood as the legacy of descendants. The Sadducees personify this belief in our scriptures. But even today, the afterlife is not a central tenet of the Jewish faith. In Judaism, you are called to live a righteous life so that you will be remembered with fondness by future generations, and because it is the right thing to do. So this riddle about this unfortunate woman who is forced to marry brother after brother to give the first brother a legacy comes from that perspective. And Jesus' answer is perplexing to those of us for whom heaven with clouds and golden gates and want to be with our loved ones in that new life. And Jesus does not say that we won't, but he says that the afterlife is different. In the afterlife, trying to produce progeny becomes irrelevant. The experience of the afterlife will be different for those who lived righteous lives despite facing inequities and insurmountable challenges, and still found the strength of character to care for others, as compared to those who've hurt others in this life through their actions and decisions. But the reality of that afterlife is fundamentally different from this reality. Now, as Christians, we hold on to this belief in the afterlife during dark times and when our loved ones pass on, knowing that we will be with them again. But there is something to admire in the belief of the Sadducees as well. We do good in this world entirely for an expected reward and not because we truly believe in doing good. The good is still being done. But when the good is coming from a place of true selflessness, there is something more to be admired. And when the only reward you might receive in death is being remembered for the good you did, you need to believe in the good you are doing. And you need to believe in the worthiness of the recipients. You have to believe in their humanity and that they are deeply connected to you. And this is what we as Christians are called to as well. Yes, we believe in the afterlife, but also we are called to care for the most vulnerable, for those with disabilities, for the sick, for victims of domestic abuse, for children, for the elderly, for the refugees, for foreigners visiting our land, for immigrants, for prisoners, for the poor, for the hungry, for those without the right clothes for the weather, and for the homeless. We are called to not just ensure their immediate physical needs are met, but also that they are able to fully live out their humanity and fulfill their potential. We are called to build justice and righteousness in our society and not just hope for the charity and pity to fill the gaps. We are called to condemn immigration raids that tear families and communities apart and force those who have been following legal pathways to choose between torture in government facilities or face deportation to places where they may be killed upon arrival. We are called to condemn legislation that will force people to go without health insurance and ultimately health care. And we are called to condemn the loss of food assistance to millions, including many, many children. We are called to do this not because we expect a reward in heaven for it, but because we believe in the dignity, humanity, and reflection of divinity of each and every individual here on earth. Amen.